Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Texas Outlaw Running Talk Show. This is your host, Briston Rains. Joining me is
Asher Hamlin.
We do apologize for the inconsistency on podcasts. I was actually just talking to Asher about it, but originally when we had our podcast going, my wife would come in and set everything up, and we would have our baby with us in the office, and just with the baby growing up and all that, made things really difficult to do the podcast with the baby in the room. So that took over. And so now podcasting has kind of fell to the wayside, but we're trying to get back going. We're about to bring on a new person here in the next month or two. And hopefully when she comes on, we can get these regular episodes going. So, but glad y'all could join us. The big Texas Ultra just happened this past weekend, a few days ago, actually. This morning, I actually mailed out some checks to the winners. First place male got $1,500. First place female got $1,500. Second place male and female got $750. Third place got $200 or $300 or something. I don't know. Just mailed those out today. That's a nice bonus. Winning a race and getting $1,500.
Heck yeah.
For winning a race. So, but yeah, it was a big week and weekend. It was Asher's only race for the entire month of November because it was such a big race. Yeah, let's dive into it, man. So going into the race week, I don't know, were there any crazy things that happen when you're out course marking or anything like that?
Well, you never really know what you're going to run into when you're out course marking. Is the trail going to be clear? Is the trail going to be ready? So for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure most of the people that are listening to this podcast probably don't know, but we normally host the Big Texas Ultra in Georgetown at Lake Georgetown, which is a massive 26-mile loop, and then we do a little out and back edition to make it a 50K loop. And unfortunately, we had to change venues this year from where we've had it in years past. And so one of the first options.
I do want to say a lot of people were asking about the move. And I was telling everybody about it, but there was actually two things that played into it. So number one, the main reason is they asked us to send permits in at the beginning of summer. This race is at pretty much the beginning of fall, end of summer. And so when we sent our permits in like they asked us to, they let us know that weekend they were closing down all the parks for park maintenance. And I guess they only make their schedules like 6 months out. And we schedule our stuff a year and a half out, sometimes 2 years out. So we had this date planned for almost 2 years. And so obviously we couldn't change anything outside of the location. So we ended up having to temporarily move it. But next year, it should be back at Georgetown like it was the previous 2 years, because we put it on a weekend that land agency doesn't usually do anything on. The past few times we've put on the race, we've ran into conflicts with them on dates, just because of their lack of future planning on their end. They don't plan for more than 6 months out, it seems like. So we should be good to go next year to be back at Georgetown for sure. It's probably a 95% chance we're going to be back at Georgetown. And then another thing is the government got shut down. And when the government shut down, they closed that entire park system down. And I think the week of the race, they might have just started opening the government back up. I don't remember, but that would have caused issues because we wouldn't have been able to course mark the week of the race and get into the park. So it kind of played in our favor. But the course we had this past weekend, this year, I heard a lot of really good things about it. A lot of people said they really liked it. And I think on our end, it's a lot easier than Georgetown because it's the nearest aid station's 15 minutes away, whereas Georgetown, it's like an hour. We have to drive an hour to get to an aid station across the lake. But I would be interested to hear feedback on which course people did like better if they've ran it both years. I think Georgetown has the favor because is a 26-mile loop around the lake, and there is a really nice section where you get to run through some neighborhoods and parks on like a sidewalk and concrete trail, and it's a good mix up. Whereas this past weekend was just all trail. So, but the location that we did this past weekend for the Big Texas Ultra was in Johnson City, and that will always probably be a backup for us for that race.
Yeah, it's so convenient, or it was really convenient for us to be able to make this pivot. And like Briston was saying, or like you're saying, in the summer rolled around and we had submitted permits, and we figured out that date didn't work. So then there was a bit of scrambling. But this venue, which we do use for another race, the Desert Wolf, was worked really well with us. And luckily they had those dates available, which I definitely expected the ranch side too, but I didn't know if the state park would or not. But then it just ended up working out to where we had it was smooth sailing in regards to dates. And yeah, on your aid station comment, and the reason I think a lot of people liked the location in Johnson City, we had several parts of the course hit the main aid station several times, and then same with the aid station that was in the state park side. So for everybody that is listening to this and isn't familiar with the course, the main aid station got passed 3 times per 50K loop. The state park aid station got passed twice per 50K loop, and then the other aid station that was in the ranch side got passed twice. So I think it was a really spectator-friendly venue.
Yes,
and it was also a humongous loop, and we kept it a 50K, which is something that we both wanted, just for like variability, and so people got to see several parts of a new place, and that's kind of what we had. That was our theme for the Big Texas, is that it was going to be a massive loop. But yeah, so there were some out and back sections, which it's funny because the out and back sections, it seems like everyone, specifically the one in the state park, that was like the toughest spot for a lot of people, which it was like a 6-mile section between the state park aid station and then the main aid station, which was also the start and finish line. But yeah, I heard really good things about this one. Ryan Hill, who we both know really well, he's a Denison, right? Denton or Denison?
Denison, Texas.
Denison athlete and Texas Outlaw elite athlete. He was asking me, he was like, "So what do you think?" He's hearing a lot of good things about this venue. He's like, "Y'all think you're gonna take it or change it to this location for good?" And I was like, I don't think so. But it
was he kind of rooting to do that?
He kind of was.
Okay.
He was like,
well, I mean,
so that's the other thing. That's the other thing is like, kind of just to my comment about it being so spectator friendly. Georgetown is a 50K loop, and like you said, it's an hour from the start and finish to the furthest aid station, which is cool. You get to see all sides of the lake literally, and I don't know. It was a different feel. And then I think the fact that so many spectators were able to hang out in just 2 or 3 spots and not have to move around a whole lot, that was also really nice. It's just convenient. My other thing was to get between the ranch and the state park. It's like you said, a 15-minute drive. You don't have to deal with any traffic. Out in Georgetown, one of the things you're having to deal with all the way around the lake is traffic. So that hour drive, if there's something going on, could turn into an hour and a half. It's just 2 different spots, but it's cool.
We should put a poll out and have people that have done it this year and last year have them vote. And if it's like a landslide, then we might seriously consider moving it, keeping it at the ranch. It is, I think, in a lot of ways, pretty friendly for everybody. I don't know. I think it'd be good to poll, maybe see if that's something that everybody else thinks, or if it's kind of split, keep it where it's at.
Yeah.
in Georgetown. But I mean, I'm not opposed to putting it back there because you run in a ranch, you're running, I don't know, 10 miles at the ranch side, and then at the state park side, you're running 20 miles. And really, I think you can honestly get away with doing like a 50-mile loop out there if you were to use like every single trail in the ranch and the state park.
I think so too.
You could get probably pretty close to that. Or
So
even
maybe,
you might be able to do a 60-mile loop, which would be crazy. People would probably yeah, and the ranch is cool because the ranch has a lot of things I like about that ranch and that location. It's got the cave people run through. It's got that view of the river. It also has that really cool old western town that you run through, and you kind of run through this barn, which is super unique. Which, yeah, it's a cool setup, and then the state park itself is a cool area because it is a state park. And I went out there picking up course marking Sunday, and the part I did was really pretty. Yeah, it's a cool race. Cool location at least. So I don't know. I guess throw that out there. Another big change. I was talking with Ryan. Something that we're doing next year is for the championship. Instead of doing just qualifiers, we're gonna do time qualifiers, and if you podium top, we haven't decided yet on what the top is going to be, whether it's top 3 or whatever. But something we're going to do is, if you're around top 3 or something, we'll get numbers exact and post it on the website. But like top 3 that finished this year get automatic entry into next year, so they don't have to qualify again. And then we'll still keep our qualifier races, and then we'll do probably time qualifiers to where, like, if they ran 100K in under X amount of hours, and we can adjust it based on elevation too. So, but that's something we're looking into just to get more competition into the Big Texas Ultra. We'll kind of have a few different options to get into that championship, other than just trying to qualify at the qualifying race. So that's something me and you will talk about. But that's something he brought up, though, just trying to like get people in. So heck, we might do it to where we just do podium and regional races where you still have to qualify, but if you podium, you automatically get in the next year. I don't know. Maybe we can also make smaller distances qualifiers at the qualifying regional events. So like, I don't know, maybe we can do 50K qualifier and a 100K qualifier for the North Texas Ultra, for example. There's a bunch of different ways to go about it. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, those are good ideas. One other thing I thought about is like having, and I think somebody mentioned this to both of us, is doing at each of the qualifying races, so Northeast, Southwest, doing a shorter event qualifier. So we have the 100K championship, but then we also have the 15K championship at the Big Texas Ultra, which is a staple distance that we've always done. So then those that run some of the shorter distances at the Northeast, South, and West, or maybe even like the middle tier distance. So like, as an example, the 14K at the East Texas, maybe that's a qualifier for the 15K, or the 17K at the South Texas is a qualifier for the 15K at the championship.
Oh, and so basically we would have every distance would be a championship distance. So like we would have a 15K championship, a 50K championship, and a 100K championship. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe we just keep it we go short trail championships and we do long trail championships or something like that. I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
I'm really open to see what other people have, what other people's thoughts are on this. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there now. But if you're listening and you email us, texasoutlawnrunning@gmail.com, or you just use the contact form on our website, texasoutlawnrunning.com. If you email us any ideas or thoughts or things that we said that you're like, yes, do that, please. We want feedback. Like, we want to do what people want. I have a feeling we'll probably always stick with just doing the 100K championship. Something I told you this year, we had over 150Kers and 96 of them finished, which is crazy amount of 50K runners. We had 3
Yeah.
DNF. 29 didn't even show up, which is crazy. But we had 96 50K finishers. Justin Uresti from San Antonio ran 4:59. CJ Finley ran 5:22. David Fleming ran 5:23. It's pretty good times. And then on the female side, we had Charis Landon from Waco, 5:29. Claire Wilson, second place, 6:08. Then we had
Yeah, and I'll go ahead, say
Jessica
third place.
Webster, 6:50 from Georgetown. Yeah. So huge turnout there. And I loved the start of that. That was awesome. That's when I gave up and gave my get punched in the face speech. But I looked at Asher and I said, hey, man, I said, we should try to get this race to be a Western States qualifier. So I'm pretty sure that in order for it to be a Western States qualifier, it has to have 100K finishers. We had 25 finish, but we had a lot of people not show up or not finish also. But we probably had to combine 50 or 60 signups for the 100K. So something I really want to try to do is get this thing to be a Western States qualifier, which would be awesome. If you don't know what Western States is, it's like the Super Bowl of ultra marathon running in the U.S. But I would definitely want to try to get more people in the 100K and get this thing to be a Western States qualifier. Because we could, if Western States allowed 50Ks, we would pretty much be right there as almost having a Western States qualifier. But we had 96 50Kers. So my goal, I do want to try to get 100K or 100Kers. And I think courses that are 30-mile loops in Texas they're pretty rare, but I think those are the ones that kind of deserve a Western States qualifier. I think those are ones that people want to come run and race are big loops, because I don't know too many people that like to do a bunch of smaller loops for 60 miles. So
Right.
I personally would do a 2-loop 100K race. I don't know if I would do anything smaller than that unless I was going for time. So, but did you say, or did you want to say something earlier when I was talking about the 50K?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna note Justin Uresti's finish time 4:59.13. That was no joke on that course. I wasn't sure going into the day if anyone was gonna be sub 5 in the 50. Just because of the terrain type. It was extremely rocky through sections. Although it was flat on the state park side, the ranch side was pretty technical, and then the out and back, like I was saying earlier, was extremely technical. So I was surprised that anybody broke 5, and he broke it by 47 seconds. The other thing was the championship 100K. We had some of the people that performed really well in the end, and I'm sure we'll get into placement overall here in a minute. But we had some of them come through under 5, and I just knew it was going to be a great day based on that. And a competitive day. So I think that was the other cool thing that we both saw was people really, really wanted to win. I mean, obviously there being a cash prize at the end, but then everyone was just competitive because I don't know, everybody's competitive animal came out, so that was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was funny too. We had some people in the general 100K run faster than the 100K championship. So I'll give you an example. So like our second place guy in the championship, Carlos, he ran 13:02. In the 100K general entry, like the non-qualifier, Amos Lozano ran a 12:35, which is 30 minutes faster than Carlos. Which Carlos, he still did great job, great time. But that was interesting that we had Amos Lozano from San Antonio run 12:35. That would have put him as a second place in the championship.
Yeah. Next time.
He needs to qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah. but yeah, so something really cool with this race, and I'll talk about it real quick. So Philip had come out with Ryan Hill and Ryan Roberts. Philip Sebastiani, he's our Texas Outlaw Elite team captain, and he came out and he was doing live documentation of the race on his Instagram page. And then we were kind of resharing it all week, and he's even still now like doing interviews with the winners, and all that. But his documentation of the race was really well. He's following around the winners the whole time, posting videos every 30 minutes. It was on his page, the Infinite Endurance podcast is where he was kind of posting everything. And so he actually came up with the idea of starting the Infinite Endurance Network, I think is what it's called. But basically now, I talked to him, but basically now he's going to come out and document and live stream our races, our big races for us through his Infinite Endurance Network, which is through his podcast, Infinite Endurance Podcast. So he's going to come out to the Backland, the last person standing we do. He's going to live stream that and do a commentary. And so that'd be cool. But anyways, he was out there following everybody around, him and Ryan Hill. They were helping the top runners. They were pacing them, running with them, all that. And they were running around all race. And it was cool because they kind of kept eyes on the top winners or the top finishers the whole race. So shout out to Philip, Infinite Endurance Podcast, if y'all want to see videos from the race, because he got like 50 of them. So, and he's still posting about it. He interviewed all the winners. So if you want to go listen to the winners, go listen to the Infinite Endurance Podcast. But yeah, so first place was Nicholas Woodcott from Bastrop. He ran 10:56. First place female was Nadine Forrest. She's our Texas Outlaw Elite runner up from Oklahoma City. She ran 11:01 and second overall. The women really swept this race. Maria Haynes from Melissa, Texas ran 11:14. And then Alexandra, or Alex is what we'd call her, Alex Walker from San Antonio. She ran 11:56, fourth overall, third place female. And I actually got to share some miles with Alex. So I ran with her from mile probably, gosh, I don't know, 40 to 50, somewhere in that range. I ran 6 miles with her and Ryan Hill. And we ran that super hard section that you were talking about. And then she was first, leading, beating everybody, even the guys. And then it went downhill shortly after. I'm sure if it's on one of Philip's podcasts or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's interviewed her or will. But yeah, and then second place male, fifth overall was Carlos from San Antonio, Carlos Arana, 13:02. And then I think it's pronounced Dalen Tang. Dowling Tang. Yeah, he ran 14:22, third place. That was for the championship. And then I also want to mention Erica Swank from Austin. She ran 12:36 in the general 100K, not the championship, the general. She ran a 12:36, and that would have put her fourth female in the championship. So anyways, that's the results on that end. One guy, he rucked the 50K with 40 pounds, right?
He did. Yes, sir.
That was cool. And then we had one guy send us a video of his first ever 50K, him crawling into the finish. He's come and ran quite a bunch of our races. I think his name's Jesus. Is that who that was?
So.
We posted a video of him. I think it's Jesus. Yeah, I've seen him at a bunch of our races. But he finished his first ever 50K in 11 hours, 23 minutes. So,
baller.
That's cool. And just some highlights I was thinking off the top of my head at the race. So
yeah, and our overall winner, Nicholas Woodcott, that was his second ultramarathon ever.
wow.
So he's a full-time plumber. Somebody was telling me kind of I think after he had finished or maybe right before he won the race, he works like 80 hours a week and finds time to train in between. And he's a plumber. So it's very opposite to what you would think a plumber is doing with their spare time. At least that's how I think it was his brother or sister talking to me or somebody. That's how he would describe it. But yeah, his second ultra ever, he qualified at the East Texas Ultra. Right now, he is 2 for 2 on overall wins. He won the East Texas Ultra in I think he set a course record this year, 4 hours, 20 minutes, and 1 second. Yeah, so he's got the course record by 3 minutes. And that was a course record from 2021 that he broke this year. So that was an outstanding race. So much fun to watch. And then I was talking to him about, the championship in November, and he's like, okay. And he was, hoping he'd be able to make it out. Sure enough, old boy comes out and freaking destroys this 100K. And, like I've mentioned several times, it was not an easy course. It was very different from the East Texas Ultra in terms of difficulty and terrain, and it's just not necessarily a fast course. And, he came out, ran a smart race. Well, he probably would say otherwise. I know that he said to me afterwards that he'd been dealing with cramping for about 40 miles. And at one point, he got to the pickle juice aid station, and they were like, well, try some pickle juice. It being a freaking pickle juice aid station. And so he tried some, and he said his cramp started going away immediately. So I'm like,
that's the thing I don't understand, which I understand when people are new, but like if you're cramping, take some freaking pickle juice, not pickle juice from the store. Go to picklepower.com and they sell these bottles of what they call pickle juice. It's not really pickle juice, but tastes like pickle juice.
Yeah.
Run with that, take a shot. I mean, they're not even a sponsor of ours or anything, but like it works. Like whenever some guy finished the 15K, he was like laying on the ground cramping. I went and got him some pickle juice. It went away. Something I don't understand with runners is like, especially seasoned runners, they'll start cramping a race and then just be like, oh, my race was over or whatever. It's like, take some freaking pickle juice. That's all you need. Like a little shot. And we literally had a pickle juice aid station at the race. And most of our aid stations always have pickle juice at them anyways. So it just kind of blew my mind that there were so many people cramping. And it was just like,
it's right there.
I guess that's their motto is stop muscle cramps.
Right. And I guess that's the other thing we should note is the day of, it was not a particularly cool day. I guess in the morning it was a little bit cooler, but it was honestly humid. It was probably like 65 and humid right there at the beginning of the day. And it was overcast for probably the first 4 or 5 hours of the race, but then it just started to kick up in terms of temperature and the sun came out and a lot of people suffered because of the sun. I was pretty much asking everybody after they finished, how was your race? And if that person would tell me, oh, it was really tough, I'd be like, did the heat get you? And every time it was like, yep, the heat got me, sapped me.
What's crazy is the week before it was like 40 degrees.
Yeah, literally.
It was just not the best timing, I guess. Went from 40 to 70 to 60 to 80. So.
Yep.
But
just an insane week.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, I was telling you kind of all weekend and even after how great of a race it felt. It felt like just like a real grassroots ultramarathon race. Like if you ever go to like a big ultramarathon, like I was at Arkansas Traveler beginning of October, and it just had this like real grassroots ultramarathon feel. Because you can go to run a ultramarathon or trail run somewhere, and it just be an ultramarathon trail run. But there's sometimes some that you'll go to where you go to them and it just feels like epic. Like I don't know how to describe it. Legit and epic and gritty is the only way I can describe it. And that's what I felt at this race. I was like, man, this race is so legit. Like this is great. That's all I could think. Because I've been to some trail races that are like, they're just kind of like your local once a year ultra marathon in your area, and it's just kind of like that's all it is. But this one felt, I don't know, the atmosphere was just, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if you can, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that so many spectators were able to hang around and see their people so often. Like we had it was great finish line numbers all day. But like a lot of people were just hanging out at the finish line, watching their people. Aid station seemed like it was always packed. Also, shout out to our volunteers. They really came through. And then the pickle juice aid station. Those guys setting up all day. And I heard that they were watching college football and cooking people burgers. I got so many comments about
They were
how
cooking people burgers out there.
Yeah, I heard how one lady was like, she came into the aid station. They were like, "You want a burger?" She was like, "Yeah." So she said she was just like not able to keep anything down. So she gets this burger from them and takes off back to the start and finish line. She took like a bite and she started throwing up. I was like, "Dang, the burger really did it to you." But yeah, they were awesome. And then I heard from a lot of people that all the aid stations were just top notch, serving it up all day. All the volunteers were kicking butt. Yep, drinking pickle juice, all the stuff. I just noticed this. So 2023, 2024, and this year, our 100K championship has had 10 finishers each year. What is up with that?
I don't know. Well, the good thing is this next year, we're going to open it up where more people can get into the 100K a little easier. So,
yeah. I just thought that was funny. We had a ton of people that didn't start. We had about 10 people didn't start and 6 people that didn't finish the full 100K.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if some people that didn't show up was because we moved locations or something.
Yeah, I think that was part of it.
So a lot of people were really heartbroken when we told them we were moving locations. A lot of people wanted Georgetown. So.
Yep. Well, we had a lot of locals too that run that loop or run those trails that, they're like, that's a big venue change. Also, we had some fellers from New Mexico who were super understanding. We changed the venue and they had already set up like for their family to come out to Georgetown and they had already reserved some spots. I actually ended up getting on a phone call with them because we were just kind of going back and forth. And this was when we were in the process of securing the new location.
Yeah.
And I ended up popping on a phone call with them and kind of telling them the situation, explaining everything, because customer satisfaction is our number one priority.
Yeah, I'll answer some phone calls from customers. Like I'll have random people call me.
Yeah,
asking questions.
Right, and so these guys, they had a lot of questions, understandably, and they were pretty upset that we had to change the venues. And I was like, hey, here's the deal: we had to do this, this, and this because of the venue is not able to host us on those dates. But anyways, they were super understanding and they showed up and ran the whole race from what I can tell and had a really good time.
Good.
So
yeah, I personally, I mean, we had to do what we had to do. We literally looked for every option possible in Georgetown because we were looking at just doing like city trails at one point. There was just nothing we could do, and then the nearest 30-mile loop place would have been this place. So, but I will say, when stuff like that happens, it's like we can't control what you personally planned. Like we can't move a venue back to Georgetown just to fit your personal whatever. Like we have to do what's the best interest of everybody. Best interest of everybody in this case was a 30-mile loop within somewhere around Austin. And it was 60 miles away from the original location. Which is not huge, and it is common for a race to get moved. I know Bandera, which is a Western States qualifier, one of the biggest ultras in Texas. The Bandera race, it's very common every few years that they have to move that to a Christian camp somewhere else, at a different venue. It's very common they have to move that because if there's if there's even a drop of rain on the radar, the state park ranger makes them the park ranger makes them move their race. They're not allowed to have it where they usually have it. So, for a race to get moved to a different venue, it's always better for a race to be moved to a different location than a different date, because so many people plan around that date and they train for that date. They book hotels around that date. Worst case scenario, you book a hotel in Georgetown, you have to drive an extra hour to get to the race, yeah, so overall, we did what's the best interest of everybody. So
yeah, and I was talking to Philip about this. We did a pre-race podcast, but
yeah,
I tried my little heart out to try and work with the city of Georgetown, Lake Georgetown, on somehow preserving that date and those trails, but just nothing worked, unfortunately. But it all worked out in the end. We were able to have a really good race out at the ranch in Pedernales State Falls State Park. So
then we shouldn't have an issue being back at Georgetown next year. It shouldn't be an issue at all, honestly. That's probably, like I said, 95% chance that we're gonna be back there. So
yeah.
Whatever the registration page shows is where we'll be, which is gonna be Georgetown. We're gonna communicate with the people who manage the lake property, and which is the Army Corps of Engineers. We'll work with them, but yeah, we're looking to get back to Georgetown either way. It doesn't matter. We're not planning on changing that at all. We are going to be back at Georgetown. So just because that's the original, again, 25 miles around the lake, you can't beat that. That's such a cool loop. So yeah. So overall, though, the race was pretty fantastic, I think. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was good. Very well supported. Lots of volunteers. Remember the first year we did this race, we had 5 volunteers. We had 6 aid stations and a 30-mile loop, and we only had 5 people, but we pulled it off. And then the next year we got a little more, and then this year we had a lot. And then I have a feeling next year it'll be even bigger. So
Yep.
So see y'all in Georgetown next year for the race.
See y'all there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got any other thoughts or anything for everybody else?
Not really. It was a good year. Made it happen. Saw a lot of good races leading up to it. I think that's kind of what's fun from the perspective of the race director, is that I get to see all the qualifiers and then who shows up to the end. So as an example, the people outside of the qualifiers for the championship, we had a lot of people do the series where they're just running each race for the medal, right? So it's cool from my perspective because I get to know some of these people by name over the course of a year, and then I get to see them at the very end having completed all of these races. And it's yeah, I only got to share 5 days out of the year with them, but the fact that now I know who they are and got to watch them accomplish something pretty cool and be there for each accomplishment is something special. So I think that's what I appreciate about series races, is you start to see similar names and faces, and that's just a lot of fun from my perspective.
Yeah, talking about the Texas Ultra Series real quick, I'll talk on that. So we have registration open for the 2026 series. So Ultra sign up, if you do sign up for the Texas Ultra Series, it gets you 20% off every race. So like if you want to run all 5 races, it gets you pretty much 20% off if you sign up for the series pass. So something cool I want to talk about. So something new. So we're going to change the medals up going from 2026 to 2030. Let me talk about the context of that real quick. So the first year we did the Texas Ultra Series, we had these really big medals that we did. And I think the first year too, we only had the first year we did the Texas Ultra Series. I think we only had the North Texas Ultra, the East Texas Ultra, the South Texas Ultra, and the Big Texas Ultra. We didn't have the West Texas yet. So the second year of the series, we added West Texas, making it 5 races instead of 4. Okay. And so obviously the medals had to change. So we kept those same medals for 2 years to give people at least 2 years to finish the series. Well, we had a lot of people say, find out about it the year of, and they were asking like, are these medals going to fit in the next year's? And we always, me and Asher have talked about this, but we've always kind of had a thing to where like we'll bring past year's medals just in case somebody does want to finish that series. So for example, let's say someone's like 1 or 2 medals away from finishing the race or finishing the medal. Well, something we'll do is next year, even though we're going to have different medals, we'll still bring some old ones. So that way, if you didn't get a medal or you didn't get to finish last year, well, if you come to these and you ask for it, we can get you one. And if we don't have it with us, we can definitely work on getting you one. So, but anyways, going into that, so 2026 to 2030, we're going to do new medals. So we're still doing the shape of Texas. A lot of people like that. I like it. So the medals are still going to be the shape of Texas, but one of the big changes we're making is the medals are now going to be big. The first year we did the series, the medals were really big. And then the last 2 years, we didn't realize how small some of the medals were for the series when we were working with the medal supplier. But once we had them, like we couldn't make any changes for 2 years. So we kind of had to grind through the past 2 years to get rid of these smaller medals. So from 26 to 2030, so people have 4 years to collect all 5 medals. So like that's plenty of time in my opinion. People have 4 years to complete all 5 races. But we're going to be doing bigger medals. They're going to be more rustic, more Texan, and they're going to have cooler designs on them. And so people have 4 years to complete the series, which is 5 races in 5 different regions of Texas. And if you want to look for pictures of that, you can look at our most recent Instagram post where we do have a picture of it. Or you can even just go to our Texas Ultra Series Ultra Sign Up page and you can see a picture of what the shape of Texas looks like and how they fit together. We are working on getting pictures up right now of the new medals though. So we don't have pictures of those yet, but we do have prototypes. And we're working on posting those new pictures of the new series medals. And I think that's what some people are waiting for this going into this next 4 years, because we're going to have the same medals for 4 years. So, but they're going to be cool. Really, really neat. And I've already seen some of them. Another new thing we're doing is a ruck pass for the series. So you can do the entire series in ruck. And be able to ruck the entire series. So that's a cool thing too. Mr. Ruck. By the way, I want to say this. I think, Asher, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm the one who brought rucks to trail running. Because 2 years ago, there were no rucks at trail races, but I had the idea to do it. So I started doing it at all of our races 2 years ago. Okay. I was the only race director in Texas that I know of that put on trail races, but also had ruck divisions. Okay. Sure enough, the past year, I'm looking at these races and race directors, they're all adding rucks to them now. Do I get the credit?
Oh man.
Do you give me the credit on that, Asher?
I give you credit, dude.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
Or do you think that's just me dreaming?
I mean, what was the first one that we had?
I think the first ever ruck event we did was like, I think it was like the Frio trail runs back in like 2 years ago. I think that was the first one I did a ruck at, and then I saw that it brought quite a few people, so I kept doing them. I just had the idea because I saw, I looked at Go Ruck on their website. They had just only rucking events, so I was like, let's do rucks. So I started doing them, and people were coming, so I kept doing them. And now we offer rucks pretty much to every event, and it seems like to me, could be wrong, but it seems like to me, now that I've done them or do them in all my races, everybody else does them now. So
Gotcha.
I will take the credit.
Hey, credit where credit's due.
Come on. So I don't know.
All I know is we've had a ruck at every single event since I can remember. So not the original ones, but since I've been race directing all of them.
I'll take the credit on it. So there you go, all you ruckers that ruck at our trail races. I was the one that brought it in. Yeah, no, every race director and their mom was doing it now. So yeah, man. So anyways, looking forward to the next year's Big Texas Ultra and Texas Ultra Series. We're actually working on a few new venues for a couple of the different races. North Texas Ultra is good. That the reason we have to look for new venues for some of these places is because of capacity issues, or the park we work with is very difficult to work with. So the West Texas Ultra at Lake Meredith, I know Asher hasn't had a chance to go out to Lake Meredith yet, but it is seriously, in my opinion, the most scenic race we do. With the government being shut down, obviously it's pretty difficult to it was difficult to get permits for West Texas. So right now, and I'll tell you this, Asher, too, like right now we are kind of looking at other options for West Texas Ultra, but for now, like I wouldn't be upset. I don't think runners would be upset either if we kept it where it's at. As long as we had a backup venue, because they're pretty particular. Lake Meredith for the West Texas Ultra, they're pretty particular about safety and particular about weather. So if the weather's bad, then they're pretty much like, hey, you got to find somewhere else. So, and then also it's single track trail and you're kind of running into each other. So, but it's a beautiful location. It's seriously, Asher, I'm not kidding. I know you haven't been out there yet and race directed that race yet, but the West Texas Ultra was seriously one of the most beautiful races I've ever put a race on at. I loved course marking. It was just every day was a stunning view. Such a pretty area. But depending on that land agency, because we were working with them last year and it was just a little difficult. So depending on where they are at and where they stand depends on if we do that race there. The East Texas Ultra is another thing. So we can only park so many people at that state park. So we've looked into other options. We do want to keep it accessible for people as far as we want to be able to keep smaller distances for that race. So we are possibly exploring a new course for the East Texas Ultra. And just know, Big Texas Ultra is going to be in Georgetown unless something weird happens. It's going to be at Big Texas Ultra. South Texas Ultra, it's going to stay where it's at. North Texas Ultra staying where it's at. West Texas Ultra depends on the land agency, how they feel about it. East Texas Ultra, again, just depends if we can even find a new location that's worthy, that's good, and that's can handle the amount of people we need. Because now, we're bringing 300 people in a race, and some of these places can't handle that. Like the East Texas Ultra can only hold 100. So, but anyways, yeah, it'll be a good year. I'm looking forward to the series. I love the series. It's one of my favorite. So,
yep. Yeah, and on the West Texas Ultra, I actually got a hold of them today, and looks like the date is good for next year. And
about Lake Meredith?
Yep.
Sweet.
And so, yeah, everybody expected to be at Lake Meredith.
Okay.
I'm excited to go out there and excited for 2026 Texas Ultra Series.
There it is. Awesome. It's in. So that one's going to be at Lake Meredith. And I'll go ahead and tell everybody now. So the East Texas Ultra, we're looking at doing that one at the Mineola Nature Preserve. A lot of people in East Texas don't even know what that is, but they've got a good 30 miles of trails out there. It's out in East Texas. It's in Mineola, Texas, and it's not far from where the original race was out in Pittsburgh. It's probably 45 minutes from there. But yeah, it's out here in the Piney Woods, so might get moved there, but everything else should stay the same. The East Texas Ultra might get moved though, but obviously registration's not even open yet for the East Texas Ultra unless you sign up through the Texas Ultra Series. But when if changes are made, it'll be on the registration page, and we'll communicate if you're already signed up for something. We'll be like, hey, this race got moved. But no, we don't plan on doing any major changes for anything, except for maybe like the East Texas Ultra. So, yeah, man. What are you looking forward to most, Asher, about the Texas Ultra Series and then the big Texas Ultra for 2026?
I'm looking forward to. I always have enjoyed the South Texas Ultra. That's just like such a fun race. It's kind of a low-key race that it's probably our least participated in amongst the series.
Yeah.
But it's a gorgeous venue, and I wish we had more people come out and camp the night before. I think one of the limiting factors is there's not a whole lot of options when it comes to lodging out in Lakey, Texas.
Well, also too, Lakey, Texas, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
where the race is, it's like the nearest civilization is like 2 hours away. So, like as far as big city or anything.
But yeah, that's a fantastic venue. It's just gorgeous, a gorgeous ranch, right smack dab in the middle of like the true Texas Hill Country.
True.
And so that's one that always excites me. And it's always around my birthday too, which I don't think it will be this year, but yeah, just an amazing venue. And then Big Texas, I'm just excited to have a bigger and better year than last year. So hopefully we can creep up on that 100K, 100 finishers mark.
Yeah. If it doesn't do it this next year, then it might do it the next year after that,
Yeah.
But I expect it in the next few years to do it for sure, because it's such a good race. It's in November. I don't know of any other big races in November or even December. I know January, February, you got like the big Bandera, Rocky Raccoon, and all that, but I don't think there's really much in November that's huge. Oh wait, yeah, the Dinosaur Valley race. I forgot about that. That's in November. That one's a Western States qualifier. But yeah, I think 30 miles around Lake Georgetown beats 10-mile loops around a Dinosaur Valley State Park, personally. But
I agree. I agree. Yeah, and I guess the other thing I'm excited for is maybe adding a short distance championship. I think that'll bring a lot more people in. And then having this new standard of qualification, whether that's time or maybe some new placement qualifiers, something just to bring more people in and make it more competitive. I think that's always a good step forward.
Yeah. And I think if we do a big campaign and let people know, like, hey, we want this to be a Western States qualifier, I think that'll help bring people in. We can do some deals to where, like, if you bring your friend, we'll give you half your money back on your race registration or something.
Right. Yeah. Something
like
cool.
There's ways we can incentivize people to, like, hey, like, bring more people. And the another key thing is like, we don't need 100 signups. We need 100 finishers. That's hard.
Right.
So we really need like 150 signups. So, considering that not everybody's going to finish the 100K. So,
right.
So yeah, it gets a little more logistic, but I think we can do it. We just need to bring in more of a awareness for the cause and think of smart ways to do the 100K. Heck, I mean, we could even, I don't know, there's a bunch of different strategies, but we could even maybe lower the cost of the race pretty significantly. Get as many people in as possible,
So, right.
There's different things, different ways to do it. But yeah. You have
I
any other
agree.
thoughts or anything?
No, that's it. I think that's all I got. Excited for
Cool.
2026.
Yeah, great race. Big Texas Ultra 2025 has been my favorite race atmosphere of the year. Lots of great things, lots of good things, great people, a lot of people I knew, a lot of friends, a lot of good stuff. So
Agreed.
yeah, y'all. One of the things people that ran the race or didn't come to the Big Texas Ultra 2025, they missed out on my speech. So if you want a good speech from me, come out to the Naughty Hog December 20th, 2025 out in Lake Ray Roberts State Park north of Dallas. I'm going to be race directing that race, the Naughty Hog. Come out to that race and you'll get a really good speech. You get to hear the get punched in the face speech. So
That's right.
possibly.
We love it.
So yeah. What do you think about that speech, Asher? I got some comments from some people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering how many people actually thought of that during the race. So for those of you that don't know, the summation of Briston's speech is when life punches you in the face and you fall down on your butt, you get back up and you punch it 3 times harder,
Pretty much.
essentially.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, I think a lot of people needed that on race day. So probably helped some people.
Yeah. I don't know if I scared people off or not, but
I don't think so. I think it's good.
I had one guy walk up to me at the merch booth. He was like, "This is a guy that talks about punch people in the face. I don't know if you want to be around him." He was joking.
Yeah.
Had somebody come up too. That was cool. They were like, they had said, "Man, you got me pumped up to run the race, and I'm not even running." They were like spectating. It's like,
That's awesome.
that's cool. Yeah.
That is awesome.
So come hear your motivational speech at the Naughty Hog December 20th. Maybe even the Backland. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I think that's all we got. We'll see y'all on the next podcast. So the next podcast episode, whenever that will be. So stay tuned.
Thanks for having me on, Briston.
Yeah. The famous Asher Hamlin. Had to have you on.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, everybody. See y'all soon, hopefully.
Yep. See y'all later. And y'all have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it may be.